Hey, I know it's none of my business, but I want to talk to you about smoking cigarettes. You don't need anybody to preach to you about quitting. You've heard enough. You know it's not good for you. You just wish you could quit. I smoke cigarettes. I understand that it's the hardest thing in the world to do. Quit. So, forgive me, but I have an idea. It's just a thought. It's not like I'm going to suggest that you take a pill or put a patch on. It's just a state of mind. So here we go. There's 3 parts to this. And if one person quit smoking, I would feel good. Because I know that most everybody that smokes wants to quit. Part 1. This is silly, but I just want you to kind of get your mind right on this. I'm not preaching, man. I get it. I enjoyed smoking. All right, here it is. An alien comes down to Earth, and we are finally, after all this stuff about it, do aliens exist or whatever, we are now talking to this alien, and the alien wants to know about us, humans. So we begin to tell them, and we begin to show them about our awesome life. And then an alien sees somebody smoking a cigarette and says, what are they doing? And we say, well, they're smoking a cigarette. And what's a cigarette? Well, a cigarette is rolled up tobacco that we light and then we draw into our lungs and then we exhale it from our lungs. And it says, okay. And alien says, why? Why do they do that? I say, well, they enjoy it. Okay. And is it good for them? No. Is it bad for them? Yeah, really bad. Alien says, so why do they do it? Aren't they smart enough to realize, forgive me, I wasn't, I smoke. Don't they realize that the cost analysis or, health versus pleasure balance thing is way out of whack? And this sounds preachy, so I want to move on. I said, no, I mean, they just, they start doing it because for whatever reason, it looks cool, they're a kid, or they started, and now they can't stop because they're addicted, because there's nicotine in there, and they're addicted to it. What does that mean? It means that their body has a physical reaction when they don't have enough nicotine in their system, and it makes them want to get a cigarette, to smoke, to put more nicotine in their body, to subside that craving, and then they're good for a while, and then they do it again. And sometimes they do it 20 or 30 times a day. Alien says, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I understand. I mean, what can you do? It's bad for them. It eventually will lead to major diseases and hurt them, but they get a temporary fix from a craving because they started. Had they not started, they wouldn't be here. Yes, duh. All right, here we are. Okay. Hard to explain that one to an alien if they don't understand addiction. Whatever. You started. Can't stop. Number 2. Remember, or did you see the movie yesterday? The whole Beatles thing where something happens cosmically, and most everybody has no memory of Beatles songs or music except for this one guy, and it turns out a couple other people. And so he begins to play music for the Beatles, and everyone thinks he's amazing and a genius, and it's just been wiped out. It's kind of a silly premise, but the movie's kind of fun, and there's some surprise little moments at the end of other things that have been forgotten. Anyway, point is, I got a story to tell you. My bartender's grandmother had a stroke, went to the hospital. heavy smoker, 90-something years old, heavy smoker. Went to the hospital and had major memory loss. So what they did was they cleared her house out of anything that was cigarette-ish, ashtrays, cigarettes themselves. They cleaned the place up. It didn't smell like cigarettes anymore. And she came home from the hospital, wherever, fully addicted to smoking, but did not remember that the cigarette would solve her temporary craving that she was having, this physical reaction. So she found another way to solve that problem, or to assuage, to appease that physical craving, whatever it was. Big tall glass of water, eating a hamburger, getting on the treadmill, aspirin, booze, whatever it was a physical feeling. She didn't know that cigarettes could solve it, so she solved it some other way. I'm not saying it took 1 day or 2 days, maybe 3, 4, but as we all know, 4, 5 days max of not smoking, and you get it out of your system, and you're home free. If you just didn't know that a cigarette is what you needed, you would suffer through that discomfort, which, frankly, is not the biggest discomfort you've ever experienced. You've been sick, you've had an operation and had to recover, you've had surgery, you've been in pain, you've had heartache, you've had broken hearts, you've had things bigger than the feeling of, I need a cigarette. I'm stressed out, I need a cigarette, or I need nicotine, or whatever it is. You've had much bigger, and you've solved them, or they went away. So if you just didn't know that a cigarette would fix the problem, you'd quit cigarettes in 3 days. Just didn't know. If you could delete cigarette from brain and just go, okay, I don't feel well. I mean, something's really, I'm agitated, short of breath. I'm gonna go outside and take some very deep breaths, kind of like what you do when you sometimes you have like a Coke or a beer or some beverage with you, so have that beverage. And yeah, you might gain some weight, whatever. I'm sorry to be preaching, I'm just excited about this point of view, kind of. If you just didn't know that a cigarette would solve the problem, you wouldn't run to the cigarette. And I liked it too, I liked smoking. I'm not sure why. But by the end of the cigarette, I felt gross and dirty. And yeah, I solved one problem, but I felt gross in a different way. And then I did it again in an hour. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Third point. The third point is why do you want to put smoke in your body? Smoke in your body? I like to put smoke in my body. I like to put smoke in my body. I put smoke in my body. That is so wrong of me to do the Indian accent thing, but I got it from an Indian guy who was doing a stand-up routine about putting smoke in his body. Your lungs these days, holy moly, that's what's happening with pandemic. It affects your lungs. You can't breathe. Oh my God. Go back to number 2. If you just didn't know. Go back to number 1. How could you explain it to an alien? This ludicrous thing that we do, that I did. I mean, I wish you the best of luck. I really hope one person, without patch, without anything, just listens to this stupid video, and I apologize for insulting or being on a soapbox. So many things that I need to do different. Anyway, best of luck.